Greetings, everyone. Greetings from the wonderful land of Africa. On behalf of the U.S. Food Sovereignty Alliance, I would like to welcome you to the 16th Annual Food Sovereignty Prize Ceremony. Thank you for joining us. This is the 16th. 1, 2, 3, we've come a long way. My name is Miriam Bassi, and I'll be your MC for today. I am the Food Sovereignty Campaign and Coordinator for Friends of the Earth Africa. I am based in Nigeria. We are members of the Alliance for Food Sovereignty in Africa, AFSA. AFSA is a broad alliance of civil society actors united in Africa's struggle for food sovereignty and agroecology. It's a network of networks with 42 members active in 50 African countries. These include African food producer networks, African NGOs networks, indigenous peoples organizations, faith-based organizations, women and youth groups, consumer movements, and international organizations that support the Alliance stance and the work we do, like the US Food Alliance. We would like to open this Mystica. Before then, I am very pleased to announce that we were the recipients of the Food Sovereignty Prize in 2016. So it's an honor and privilege for me, having received this prize as our organization, to be one of the MCs of this occasion. So before we start, we want to call everybody to the space, want to call on our ancestors, want to call on our body, spirit, and soul. We all need to be present here. So I'm going to turn it over to Stephen Bartlett, who is with the Sustainable Agriculture at Louisville, to open this ceremony with a Mystica. Thank you, Stephen.
I am Stephen, also known at times as Mustafa, a name given me in Senegal, in West Africa. I greet you all from the Ohio Valley, in the land once known as Turtle Island, greeting you from Shawnee and Osage territory. We invite you in this circle to quiet your bodies, thoughts, and emotions, to breathe more slowly and mindfully, in and out, in and out, in and out. We invite you to turn our mind's eye to places and dreams of places where today's prize winners work and play and dream. To Chicago, Illinois, home of the Algonquian peoples, the city of playful waters, the Chicago River. To North Africa, the vast Maghreb, Morocco, Mauritania, Tunisia, to the lands of the Nile River, one of the two longest rivers on the planet, flowing through Sudan and Egypt. Finally, we invite you to look also eastward to Palestine. Yes, the land between the Jordan River and the Mediterranean Sea. We know, great spirits of Mother Earth, of the troubles of these places and all around our world, and we dream of relief and peace. We dream it with all humanity. We center our thoughts on the ancestral peoples of those lands, on the seeds they saved, the crops they tended, the animals and fish that sustained them, the medicines they discovered and experimented with and gathered for their health and well-being. We imagine the centuries, the millennia of ancestors dwelling in those places, taking care of their communities, finding peaceful ways of living and thriving together with their neighbors and with those strangers displaced by conflict or scarcity, bringing with them diverse cultural traditions and ways, and seeds and medicines, ways of hunting and fishing and gathering, and pastoral migrations, and agricultural knowledge and ways, and all together reciting mystical and practical poetry, and building philosophies, and sanctifying sacred places to strengthen the passage of knowledge from generation to generation. We breathe in and out, in and out, and imagine the generations of ancestors who sang songs and played sacred drums, lutes, and horns, and loved their infants, their children, and protected them, sacrificed for them, and maintained or restored peace for them. We feel the love of those women and men ancestors who imagined their work to be creating harmonies that would benefit future generations, that include us and our offspring. We recognize we are the beneficiaries of the wisdom of generations of ancestors. We feel the goodness, the rightness of recognizing and honoring each other in this ceremony. In closing this Mystica, please repeat these phrases with me in call and response. Ashe. Ashe. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
Bendiciones y gratitud.
Bendiciones y gratitud.
Gratitude.
Blessings and gratitude.
Blessings
Blessings
and
and gratitude.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Bendiciones y gratitud.
Bendiciones and gratitude.
Blessings and gratitude.
Blessings and gratitude.
Shukran.
شكرا
Shukran.
Shukran.
Gracias.
Shukran.
Thank you, Stephen, for such powerful Mystica. Thank you so much. If we were there, we would give him some clap. Say thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. We are here today with the U.S. Food Sovereignty Alliance to honor two outstanding organizations. But first, I want to share some background on why this prize exists and is so important. The U.S. Food Sovereignty Alliance was founded 14 years ago to strengthen and unify struggles for food sovereignty in the United States, in articulation with broader global movements for food sovereignty. The Alliance works both through regional organizing and national level collectives to advance awareness of and action towards food sovereignty. The United States Food Sovereignty Alliance is honored to be the main sponsor of the Food Sovereignty Prize. I think I need to drum for this. We need to drum. It's a feat. Thank you, the US Food Alliance, for keeping this going for 16 long years. The Food Sovereignty Prize was born in 2009 when a food movement gathering was taking place in Des Moines, Iowa, at the same time that the World Food Prize ceremony was happening there. Groups came together to counter the World Food Prize, which is more than just a prize, by the way. It's a powerful institution that promotes the green revolution, or should I call it the greed revolution? In simple words, this greed revolution had major ecological and societal impacts on our people, on our communities. In summary, it came with loss of our land races, our indigenous to our country, the loss of soil nutrients, making it unproductive, excessive use of pesticides, which increases the presence of its residue in foods and environment on our environment. Of course, there were unintended consequences in water use, soil and environmental degradation, and chemical runoff. It increased income inequality, inequitable asset distribution, and worsened absolute poverty. They promised the people heaven, but they delivered hell. So for us, it was a failed revolution. And they keep telling us in Africa, you missed the first train, you need to jump into the second train. We don't want to get on board this train. We don't even want to go near it. We have the solution, we have alternatives, and we don't want this greed or green, so-called green revolution. The main problem with the World Food Prize is that it promotes the myth that hunger is due to lack of production, when in fact, we know that it is due to a lack of justice. For many decades, there's been more than enough food in the world for everyone to be well fed. But our food system places profits over people, exploits and impoverishes producers and workers across the food chain, fuels climate change, and fosters inequalities. The narrative that we can produce our way out of hunger is dangerous because it obscures those realities to the benefit of powerful corporate interests. These are people who just think about profits and smiling to the bank, who don't care about people, but they just care about profits. Food sovereignty, on the other hand, advances an entirely different system, one in which power is in the hands of the people. And we keep saying people, power, people, power. The Food Sovereignty Prize champions this by recognizing collective efforts to transform the food system. Every year, the US Food Sovereignty Alliance awards 2 prizes, one to a US-based organization and the other to an international winner. Today, we are here to celebrate the inspiring achievements of 2 groups whose work embodies the principles of food sovereignty. The recipient the drum for this. You can hear the spirits of the drum. We drum when good things are happening. The winners are the Little Village Environmental Justice Organization, also known as LVEJO, located in Chicago, and La Via Campesina's Arab and North Africa region, known as ArNA, which includes 6 farmers organizations in Sudan, Mauritania, Egypt, Palestine, Morocco, and Tunisia. And now, I'd like to call upon Ayman Wijem to introduce ArNA. Ayman is the Solidarity Program Officer for the Middle East at Grassroots International. Please, Ayman, can you do us the honors and introduce this group?
Thank you, Marianne. Thank you for your beautiful words. Hello, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you also, comrades and organizers, for asking me to introduce Arab and North Africa region of La Via Campesina. Also, thanks to ArNA region members and representatives for being in this ceremonial and timely event, especially during the most live-streamed genocide, ecocide, ecocide in human history. So the region of the La Via Campesina, ArNA region, which Arab and North Africa region, includes 6 farmers' organizations and unions in 6 countries: Palestine, Palestine in Arabic, Morocco, Al-Maghrib in Arabic, Tunisia, Sudan, Mauritania, and Egypt, Masr. So La Via Campesina ArNA believe in the principles of food sovereignty and support traditional food systems that adopt an agroecological approach based on family farming, small farmers, and other small producers. La Via Campesina ArNA is working to disseminate the principle of the Universal Declaration of Peasants' Rights. Everyone knows that when I speak, I have to go into personal narrative. So personally, I didn't know the core meaning, to be honest, of food sovereignty until I saw my compatriots, family, friends, and children starving in my hometown and elsewhere in the Gaza Strip. Kids are holding pots. I think you saw them live stream. Kids are holding pots to get food while they are denied the right to life, safety, and education. Women are dying in stampedes. In the 21st century, women are dying in stampedes to get a piece of bread for their children. 5 days ago, 3 women in my hometown died while they are stampeding actually to get a bread for their kids. So that's why I think, I believe food sovereignty is a life of its own. So again, when I mentioned also about the La Via Campesina ArNA region has stood unequivocally, unapologetically with the indigenous peoples of Palestine by sharing their plight, their struggle with other indigenous peoples across the globe, disseminating the Stop Gaza Starvation campaign, which was extremely great at the time of genocide, joining demonstration, holding press conferences, spotlighting the land and water grabbing in Palestine. The land and water grabbing in Palestine is a research in itself. Our comrades on the ground in Gaza are putting their lives on the line, and I'm working with them every day, are putting their lives on the line to save lives, provide food for starving families, and demand full sovereignty for the people in Palestine. The first thing the colonizers usually do is to hinder the foodways, destroy the agricultural land, and commit ecocide and genocide to crush the spirit of the Palestinian people. Against all of these odds, which there are so many, for 75 years and for more than 101 years, against all of these odds, the people are steadfast in the struggle to reclaim their narrative, land, and food. These 6 organizations have worked together to share a new vision and a radical praxis for food sovereignty in the Arab region and North Africa. So it is really my extreme honor to congratulate the 6 organizations that I have the honor and privilege to be in Tunisia, I think last year. And now I will pass the baton to Fuad Abu Saif He's a member of LVEJO Campesina of the International Coordination Committee, and also he is a member of the ArNA Region Secretariat. And تفضل يا عم فؤاد.
هلا عم أيمن. طيب.
Thank you, Brother Ayman.
مساء الخير للجميع.
Good afternoon, everyone.
أنا بسمع الترجمة حولي على الإنجليزي لأنه بسمع.
Oops, can you guys all hear me okay?
لأنه بسمع الترجمة.
Sometimes it's not easy for us to hear the interpretation here.
حطي عربي.
لا هلا مش لازم.
Original. Okay.
We're just working out the settings here. I want to greet you once again from Palestine. It's a huge honor to be honored with this award for our members from the Middle East and North African region, from Palestine, and I'll also add Syria, Iraq, Lebanon, Egypt, Sudan, Tunisia, Morocco, Mauritania, and all of the Arabic region. We are right now suffering a genocide from the Zionist entity, what they're doing to us right now. And it has killed more than 150,000 Palestinians, 150,000 Palestinians who have been killed. This is an incredible number, very difficult number. It's an unprecedented crime in our modern history and perhaps in all of our human history. This type of killing and genocide for a whole people for nothing, just because they're asking for their rights and because they're fighting for their dignity and they're trying to have their national sovereignty and their food sovereignty. I'm very proud, and all of us are very hopeful because of this award and this event that we're having, and all of the solidarity that we have with people across the world in this very sensitive time in our region, and especially in Palestine and in Lebanon and Syria. But we also feel great sadness because of what is happening in our whole region, what they're trying to do, how they're trying to transform our region. They're trying to turn it from being a productive agricultural region to a region where we have nothing but death and deprivation and killing. And it's also an honor for us because we have been in this, we have been fighting in this struggle for a long time with the Via Campesina and with ICC and with all of our other partners. And we had a very unprecedented and courageous visit to Palestine from our partners. And this was a very unique visit when they visited Palestine in the MENA region. And once again, I want to thank all of the countries in our region. I want to appreciate Mauritania, Morocco, Tunisia, Egypt, Sudan, Palestine, and we really appreciate that we have gotten this award, and so that we can have the assistance and continue our struggle in order to get our rights and improve our situation for the campesinos, for the rural people in our whole region, all of us, for our women and our men, our farmers, our fishermen, and all of our agricultural lands, and everything that makes up our agricultural communities here in the Arabic region. And this award is going to bring us forward, and it's going to give us a great incentive to continue our work in order to continue. And so we're going to continue moving forward, continue the struggle. This award shows us that what we have achieved so far is we're on the right path, and we're going to continue supporting farmers and fishermen to completely get all of the sovereignty for all of our resources. And even beyond that, we want to protect human beings in Palestine, in Africa, in the Arabic region, and humans all over the world to have dignity, to have their land, to have their countries, and to get rid of all of the occupation and colonialism and the stealing of land and the abuse of power. in Palestine, and all of our regions. And we're going to rise again. We have the hope. All of the rural people in Palestine and all of the rest of the world, I want to take advantage of this moment to say that this award, in my name, in the name of all of us, this is going to be awarded to the farmers of Gaza and the men and women of Gaza who have been suffering from this Zionist-Israeli war. And they have been kicked out of their homes, out of their lands, out of their fields. Imagine 433 days of continuous bombing, land, sea, from all kinds of weapons, all different kinds of bombs on Gaza. 3/4 of the country has been bombed. It's a crime, and it's more than a crime, and it's more than a genocide. It has to end. We need to work together so that we can get sovereignty on our food. And we need to stand up in the face of all kinds of occupation and colonialism. Without that, we will never be able to have food sovereignty, because they are standing in front of us and keeping us down. We need to have all kinds of freedom and dignity. We can't have food sovereignty without having dignity, and no dignity without food sovereignty. And once again, this is an honor for us. I want to thank you all on behalf of the Middle Eastern and North African region. We are going through these exceptional and difficult circumstances. And we have been, all of our men and women, our farmers and fishermen, have been fighting for the food sovereignty continuously. I want to repeat my gratitude again to you. And I want to salute all the farmers in all of the Middle East and in North Africa and across the world. And thank you for being here today, and from Palestine. And we greet you. And we look forward to continue our work together in Gaza, in Palestine, and in free Jerusalem, we hope, and with the farmers all across this region. And we hope to see the situation change and for us to be free soon. I'm going to give the rest of the words to the General Secretary of our organization, and I'm going to give him the opportunity to share this moment with me. And this is a huge honor. Thank you so much. I'll pass it on to my colleague.
Thank you. Hello to you all. I will be speaking in English. So first, we are very grateful to the US Food Sovereignty Alliance to give this prize to the ArNA region of La Via Campesina. This is a very important recognition of the work of the ArNA region and of all its member organizations in Tunisia, Morocco, Mauritania, Egypt, Sudan, and Palestine. We are here, an international delegation right now in West Bank, in the terrible context of the genocide in Gaza. And what we are witnessing here for the last few days is massive land grabbing and ethnic cleansing in West Bank. And so I think that we all want to share this very strong concern that we see that the goal of the Israeli is, on a short term, the full colonization and destruction of the Palestinian people. So more than ever, solidarity for Palestine, for the Palestinian people, is necessary. And we should all recognize that Palestinian peasants are on the front line for the resistance, as they are committed to stay on their land and to continue to produce food for the feeding of the Palestinian people. Everywhere in the world, there is no people's sovereignty without food sovereignty. Peasants and peasants' movements in the context of colonization and occupation are the basis of people's resistance. So once again, thank you very much for giving this prize in this context to the ArNA region of Via Campesina. More than ever, international solidarity is necessary. More than ever, internationalism, and in particular peasant internationalism, is highly necessary. So with food sovereignty, we know that we can really achieve international solidarity and a better life for the people. So thank you very much for giving this prize to the ArNA region.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Before I call Ophelia Sanchez to come in and take the space, I think at this moment I want us to take a moment to remember the children, the women, the men, the youths who have passed on these past years, who have been killed, who have been chased off their lands. Also people, environmental martyrs, who have died in the cause of defending the environment. I would have said, let's maintain a moment of silence, but no, silence will be treason. We're going to clap because we will never be silenced, because our voices will continue to be heard, because we'll continue to speak, we'll continue to speak out. So we are going to clap because we have angels looking down on us, and we will not stop because we belong to Mother Earth. And as children of this earth, we'll continue to stand in solidarity with all people who are victimized, with all people who are going through one tribulation or the other one violation. So it's not going to be a moment of silence. It's going to be a moment of affirmation. So we are going to clap for some minutes. Let's clap. Let's clap. Wherever you are, clap, clap, clap. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We stand indeed with solidarity with all of you. At this point now, I want to call on Ophelia Sanchez to introduce LVEJO. Ophelia, over to you.
Hi, everybody. You can hear me well. Have a little bit of background music. Thank you, Marianne. Thank you to the previous winner, just for the knowledge and for the fights that y'all are currently undergoing. Lots of solidarity your way. Definitely, we never forget y'all over in Palestine. But yes, hello, everybody. My name is Ophelia Sanchez, and I'm here to introduce our domestic winner, LVEJO. From its inception, Little Village Environmental Justice Organization, LVEJO, has been rooted in community and family. Celebrating their 30th anniversary this year, LVEJO was formed in 1994 by concerned public school parents wishing to address harmful exposure to dangerous particles at a local public elementary. They then turned their attention to address the root causes of environmental and social injustice in the whole Little Village neighborhood of Chicago. One of the densest communities in the city, the population of Little Village is primarily Latinx and Black, and has a disproportionately high rate of families living below the poverty. For such a dense community, Little Village also has the least amount of green space per capita in the entire city of Chicago. Despite these challenges, LVEJO has supported many successful community-led campaigns to support the health and safety of Little Village residents. Through 4 programs, their Farm Food Families Mutual Aid Program, their Backyard Gardens Little Village, their Semillas de Justicia Community Gardens, and La Villita Farm, LVEJO works for food justice practices that eliminate the root causes of hunger, poverty, and other conditions leading to food insecurity. LVEJO intrinsically understands that their and our greater fight for food sovereignty is a collective fight. It is only through solidarity, coalition, and the building of alliances that we can all take on the insurmountable challenges we are currently facing today across the country and across the world. They are currently a member of many alliance organizations and coalitions, including DGJ, CJA, and many others. The mission of LVEJO is to organize with our community to accomplish, with their community to accomplish environmental justice in their neighborhood of Little Village. And through that, achieve the self-determination of low income, working class, and the immigrant families that they work with. Their vision is to build a sustainable community that promotes the healthy development of youth and of families, that provides an economic justice, all through the practices of participatory democracy and self-determination. Their theory of change is centered upon the belief that when low-income folks and people of color understand the root causes of their experiences of oppression, that they then have the power and agency to transform society. And so, with that, it is my honor to present them with the Domestic Food Sovereignty Prize for 2024. As we all know, it is just very important to build in exactly like the communities of Little Village in Chicago, now more than ever, in a time where so many people are just living under a lot of economic depression. And so with that, I now pass it to them to speak to you all. Vivi, if you want to take it today.
Thank you, Ophelia. I'm taking a deep breath because I'm really grateful to be in the presence of Palestinian farmers, Palestinian land defenders, and thank you for teaching us how to be human in the face of genocide and how to stay dignified and how to continue practices of care. Thank you. I'm gonna try to continue to say this without crying. It really is truly an honor. Okay, on behalf of, my name is Viviana Moreno. I'm originally from Venezuela, now residing in Chicago. On behalf of the Little Village Environmental Justice Organization's Food Justice Team, I want to share a deep gratitude for this award and recognition of our work. It is an honor to be recognized along with farmers and land stewards and land defenders in the Arab and North African region. I want to thank the U.S. Food Sovereignty Alliance for seeing our work and for upholding the values that La Via Campesina as an international collective has worked so hard to forge. La Via Campesina and their definition and practice of food sovereignty have continuously provided those of us relatively new to this work with a political framework with which to carry out our work, always upholding land workers and non-human communities in the search for agroecological and sustainable agency with the lands that we reside and work in. Our LVEJO Food Justice Team, we have 4 really beautiful campaigns, and they respond to immediate and long-term food access needs. We have our backyard gardens, Little Village, and I want to name the names of the folks that carry this out. So Rolando, Isayo, and Taryn. Our Farm for Familias mutual aid meals that have been providing free meals to the community since 2020 consistently. And that's comprised of Taryn, Yasmin, and many folks. Semillas de Justicia Community Garden, our garden that welcomes over 40 immigrant families led by Sergio and Manuel. And our La Villita Farm, we are in our 3rd year. We just finished our 3rd season. I want to name Trini, Yasmin, Nateo, and myself. And of course, Ireri, our organizing manager, who is the trunk of our tree. If we are the branches, Ireri is the trunk of our tree who keeps us supported and going. Our work has grown exponentially over the last 5 years with the goal to meet nutritional and economic needs of our Little Village communities and other communities in the south side of Chicago, predominantly Latina and Black and immigrant communities. I want to say my big thank you to my team, to my food justice team, because it is with your spirits, your physical bodies, your visions, and your love of people and land that we have been able to provide so much access to food, programming, relief, and respite to our community and families. I know this is hard work. and I see you. With the new administration in the US, we have quite a bit of work ahead of us still, with perhaps some challenging times. And I'm hoping that we continue to have the courage to defend the land and our people so that we can continue to have the right to live dignified lives free from contamination, criminalization, deportation, and division of our communities. I want to say thank you to the U.S. Food Sovereignty Alliance, to the Food Sovereignty Prize, to Grassroots International. And lastly, I want to say Viva Palestina Libre, always and forever. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I mean, we are in the presence of so much excellence, so much good work. I mean, we could stay here for the whole day. Thank you so much. And once again, congratulations to this amazing and outstanding organizations. Because of what you do, because of your advocacy, because of your work, our children and future generations would inherit a livable world. Thank you so much. We appreciate your work, and this is just a little way. Food Sovereignty US saying thank you. Keep up the good work. More energy, more grace. Thank you. We can never thank you enough. Thank you. And big congratulations. It's so deserving. Well done. We're going to beat the drum. It's not a solemn assembly. This is a happy moment. We are happy. So in Africa, the drums stands for celebration. It's a connection between the ancestors, the generation living, those who have gone before us. It's a call to action. It says a lot of things. So today, I don't know if you could hear the spirit of the drums saying congratulations. Well done, well done, well done, well done. Thank you. So as we progress, would like to call on the stars of this evening, the winners, our champions today. Would love to hear more about the work that you do. If you could spare some time each to answer some questions, we'll appreciate that. So our first question would be, what do you see as the greatest challenge to building food sovereignty in the context in which you work? I'll just say it again. What do you see as the greatest challenge? Oh, as the greatest challenges, not just a challenge, challenges to building food sovereignty in the context in which you work. I mean, we understand that some of you work in very extreme circumstances and situations. So we would like to know, like to share some of that with us. Thank you. Any of you could go first.
So a small living example that happened yesterday with the international group. We were in the valleys area. It's the area where it connects Jordan and Palestine. It's full of food, and it consists 40% of the space of the West Bank space, or the Palestine in general. So we were there, and this area became less than 77%, and more than 1,050 farmers were kicked out from their lands, and who exist now in this area are a small number of Palestinian farmers who can actually have access to this area, are less than 50 farmers, where occupation planted more than 30 colonization or settlements in this area, where Palestinian farmers couldn't reach these areas or get their food. And it's impossible to reach these areas. And we were visiting a group of female farmers in this area yesterday. And one of these female farmers lives around like 60 or 70 meters away from the settlement, the Israeli settlement. And after October 7th, it was very difficult for them to reach their lands or their cattle, and they face attacks and rock attacks every day almost. And they are just trying to kick them out. It's just a small glimpse of what is happening daily in Palestine. This family was so happy for our visit, because literally this was the first time for a year that someone visits them. And at the same time, they were very scared and terrified because the settler was watching them, and they were very scared that they would attack them because we are visiting them. So also, they wanted us to hide inside the house and enter the house immediately because they were scared that after we leave, they would come and attack us, attack them, and kill them during the night. And another story, we visited another family that lost 4 members of this family, and this is a farmer who was killed by the settlers during the past year, during like while he was trying to get his food. Last year there was 8 farmers killed in this small village, where this village is only 4,000 people. They're all farming and planting vegetables and some seeds. And this village is surrounded with settlers and settlements from all sides, and they are very violent. One of these settlers reached this family and fired and shot this farmer from a 0 point when he was trying, or he was working in his land in front of his children and his family, in front of his wife, in front of his family members. He was killed, and the settler did not run away. He was walking freely like he didn't do anything. And he climbed up to the settlement, and the army came, or the IOF came to protect this settler. We asked from the humanitarian organization and all of the world to have an investigation, because this is a huge crime, because this farmer is a poor farmer, poor villager who works with his family, his children, and no one responded. The settler was never arrested, was never questioned, and still every day thousands of farmers are being attacked. Although there's a genocide happening, they're killing and everything. We've lost thousands of farmers during this genocide who were martyred during their work in Gaza and everywhere. And there are still farmers in Gaza. So imagine there are still farmers who are working in Gaza, who are still farming their lands and providing some food for their needs and their family, for our people in Gaza during this war. The challenges can be very different in Palestine and the rest of the world, but the struggle for every centimeter and every meter in Palestine is a struggle that faces every farmer, every Palestinian peasant, every Palestinian, with a settler, with every soldier, with every body of this entity. Unfortunately, there is no support. The farmers are facing violence every day, and they have no security, no safety. If they were attacked, they will never get any support. They will never get any defense. No one will defend them. So imagine, just to put yourself in their shoes. If you are in your home as a farmer and suddenly you are facing an attack by settlers, by killers who are coming to kill you or burn your house, as it happened with the Dawabsha family. This, how can you imagine this? What choice do you have? What will you do? There is no police to call. There's no force to come and protect you when you are being attacked by these gangs. Monsters. There is no power to defend yourself. And even if you defend yourself, you will face arrest and attacks. So this is what the Palestinian farmers are facing every day, and also other challenges. Ayman and our comrades from the North African area, the Tunisian farmers, the Egyptian farmers, everybody's and Sudani farmers, everybody are facing challenges to reach their resources and food. So whoever is responsible for all of this, either the Zionists or the American system as a colonial spreading system, Ayman knows all of this, and the Americans are causing all of this by their weaponizing the Zionist entity and controlling and colonizing all of the world. So everybody in the world is facing these challenges to own their land, the property. They have a struggle to face that and to control their production, their land, and to protect the prices, and to have food security, and to save the environment challenges where they don't have to lose much. So the Arab farmer in general has many challenges, and the only hope is to have a peasant movement and some organizations and movements that can help him. So these are the challenges we are facing, and in Palestine and many other. Well, but again, Palestinian farmers are being killed before or during the attempts of reaching their lands, their food, and the whole of the world is watching. I just want to end that our women, the Palestinian women, are paying the hugest price when reaching their lands, and they are providing more than 70% of the production for the Palestinians, and the women are providing 70% of the food. And this is just a glimpse of what the challenges that the Palestinian, the Arab farmers are facing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Abu. Thanks for sharing. We can only just imagine the situation. Now, Viviana, can you just share also with us the challenges and the situation where you work? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I think one of the biggest challenges is trying to practice autonomous agriculture and agroecology in a country specifically that is the main perpetrator and responsible for the genocide, for multiple genocides, but specifically for the genocide in Palestine. Because as many of us are putting our hands on the land and trying to work, it is our tax money, each of us individually, that is going towards weapons to further the genocide of Palestinians. I would say that's a pretty big challenge. It's really demoralizing. And we often feel like we don't know what to do. I feel like turning to the land, it's usually one of the ways that we can resist by making sure that we are feeding our people, but also understanding that our work is very political. It doesn't just stop on the land and feeding people. We understand that what we do has repercussions, and more than that, that we are unwillingly participating in a system that is actively harming the Palestinian people. I think that alone, it's a pretty big challenge. Being enmeshed in a capitalistic system where food is a commodity and not a commons. The founding of this country was possible because of the exploitations of Black people, of Asian people, and it continues to be because of the exploitation of undocumented migrants from all over the Americas. So that is a reality that we still live in today. We are trying to build alternatives by fostering knowledge sharing in our community, collectivity, and sharing what is cultivated. And, you know, aspects of the work are still ingrained in supporting different parts of capitalism and extractive economies, whether we want to or not, simply by living in this country. And so, you know, I think that we also live under structures that attempt to force people into individual solutions to climate change, to food sovereignty, or systems that take away people's support systems if we have them. And what we are trying to do is get rid of some of that enculturation that we're trying to do and making sure that we go back to working in community and relying on each other. We are going to need it to survive this next administration, and we have been needing it to survive since the founding of this country, unfortunately. And so I'm gonna keep it short, and I'm gonna keep it systemic. I think that we have challenges in Chicago of being in a really dense neighborhood, being in one of the most contaminated neighborhoods in Chicago. We are extremely polluted by land, by air, and by earth. And our small farms and our small stewardship places aim to push back at some of that history of harm and trying to see what, if at all, we're able to regenerate to create mini ecosystems so we can attempt to have some sort of future. So I'll leave it short and I'll leave it sweet. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's really inspiring. In spite of all the challenges, people still find a way to do your work. But Viviane, you can answer the second question before I move over to them. What are you most proud of in the work you've done so far? Can you hear me? Yes, is it clear? Okay. Can you just share with us? I mean, when we hear you, we hear all what you're saying. I mean, there are surmountable challenges, so many things coming at you, but you still find time. You still go ahead, you still energize, you're not stopping. It's like the more the challenges, the more you are motivated and inspired to do more for the earth, for the future of the generation. So in all this, what are you most proud of in what you've done, in what you've achieved so far?
I think I want to first give thanks to the land that a lot of us work in. Is formerly contaminated land that used to be really harmful to community, used to cause a lot of sickness. And with the work of LVEJO over many decades, we've been able to transform that land into one where we can grow food and see the return of birds and insects that we haven't seen in a long time, in urban wildlife. I think that's my first point of pride, of seeing an ecosystem regenerate itself with a little bit of help from us. I think the intentional care that we collectively put into the soil is everything. Soil is the foundation of agriculture, is the foundation of how nutrient rich our foods are. And it's an extension of us. So intentional care for the soil, we try to take care of each other and our community members. We've been able to try to build relationships with living organisms, soil, plants, people, animals, urban wildlife, like I mentioned. And also the fact that our team has grown exponentially since the pandemic. In a moment of crisis in the US and the world, we were able to act really quickly and come together to feed our community and trying to protect our community. And so we started with a small community, well, not a small, a community garden with 30 plus families. And now we have a program that builds gardens in people's homes, so people have access in their own homes. We also have a program that provides free meals and free cooking classes to community members, and has done so consistently for almost 5 years now. It's one of the longest running mutual aid programs that exists. And then we started a farm. We started a farm in the middle of a pandemic. We saw the potential, and we saw a dream on a land that had been previously harmed by by an asphalt company that did terrible things to the land. And now we are seeing our harvest grow by the thousands each year. In only 3 years, we're feeding so many people Our food is distributed for free to the community. We are building relationships with community members we weren't before. And also because our community is primarily formed of folks that in one way or another were forced to migrate from Mexico and Central America and other parts of the Americas, they are bringing their agricultural knowledge to us, and we are able to employ, practice some of those agricultural practices, but also we are trying to mimic the foods that people used to eat back home that work for Chicago. So the crops that we grow are a direct reflection of people, of what people like to eat and what has meaning to them culturally. That is something tremendous to be proud of. And then, like I said again, our team is a really amazing group of dedicated, loving individuals that genuinely care for community, genuinely feel the pain of community, are part of the community. And so I'm really proud of the relationship we've been able to build and the fact that we've been able to assemble this amazing team of people that care so deeply about the land. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Viviane. I can just feel it. The way the connection to the land makes, the way you talk about the land. I mean, I remember what my dad says about we are all relatives, that we are all connected, the land, the people, the animals, the plants, and that once you affect one or there's an imbalance, it affects every other person. And we are grateful for the land because everything literally comes from the land, and our land should never be taken away from us. And then that is where we grow our food. Thank you so much.
Can I share something really quick? I just want to say to our siblings in Palestine this year, we grew kuza, we grew yaktin, and we grew a bit of molokia. But our kuza was a squash. Summer squash is really meaningful for our community here. And we grew a kuza to introduce people as a way to talk about Palestine through our crops. And many of the community members at the end of the season ended up preferring the kusa squash over the traditional Mexican squash. And that was one way that we were able to connect with people and be like, how do we reach our people from where we're at? And where we're at is the land. And so I wanted to share that the seeds from this beautiful crop made it to our farm, and we're going to continue that practice next season.
Thank you so much. So Abu, can we hear from you? What are you most proud of in the work that you've done so far? We know you've done a lot. So can you just share a few of that with us? Thank you so much. Can you hear me? Sorry,
yes,
Viviane, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
In the Middle East, North Africa region, there's a couple different things that we could talk about that make us feel true pride. You know, in the last years in our region, we can say that right now, honestly, we are really practicing food sovereignty, not just in theory, but in practice. We've been doing this for the last few years, and we've really been applying this concept in our region for the last 10 to 15 years. And now through the active organizations that I want to thank them again, repeat the thanks that I have for these organizations, we can say that this has become a real, no longer it's theoretical, but it's a real practical reality. And we have been doing this in our daily lives, and it reflects in our programs and our activities for all of these organizations, always. Also in Palestine, in our region, in Tunisia and Morocco, in all the different regions, we have really been translating this concept into real world application, and also accessing land and food through what we do and through our activities has become a reality. And we are training people on this and how to work in accordance with these principles, even in our agricultural meetings. And in Palestine, we were successful, and we have the honor as well. We were able to found to get some of the most important seeds that were part of our Palestinian agriculture. And that's something we're very proud of, that we're able to bring back these crops that we can, and we're able to regain our food sovereignty in that way. It was a really practical application of the principle of sovereignty. We had thousands of farmers who were trained on using these crops, and also in other regions that form part of the Middle East and North Africa region. Also, I have a question, if I may ask the folks in Tunisia, if they can speak a little bit about the same topic, if they would like to. Is that okay? Could I ask my Tunisian colleagues to speak about this?
We have like 10 minutes. Maybe when you are answering the last question, you can just chip in and answer that, but we have 10 more minutes to wrap up this section. So
okay. Maybe we will give her the chance to answer the last question. Turkey from Tunis. The last question, if that's possible. Okay.
Yeah, maybe she could also answer, but can just keep it brief. We have 10 minutes, and we would like to hear from you if there's any call to action, if there's you want to share with us. Is there anything you want us? I mean, many of us here from different continents, from different parts of the world, from different countries. How can we be of support? Is there anything you want us to join in partnership with you? Is there any call to action? And Viviane, maybe you can also, when answering that, you can also answer his question. And please, can you just keep it brief? We just have 10 minutes. Thank you.
يعني أنا يعني فقط رسالة أو call for action.
For a call for action, this is very important, especially from Palestine, that the reality in our agricultural lands in Palestine right now is terrifying. The farmers and the rural Palestinians are losing their land at a faster and faster rate. What has happened in the last year after October 7th is a unprecedented change and hasn't happened in 50 years. It's a crisis of settlement, and our farmers are losing their lands faster and faster. And we need the strongest campaign to unmask the policy of settlements in the West Bank so that we can save thousands of families, thousands of Palestinian farmer families, producers who are all at risk of displacement right now. So this is my call to action. I want to ask all the free allies across the world to, all of our allies across the world to do whatever they can to make sure that we raise our voices about this ethnic cleansing and end this policy of displacement and ethnic cleansing that's happening in an unprecedented rate in the last year. And already thousands of Palestinian families and farmers are at immediate risk if the settler violence continues and the occupation's infractions against them. So this is our call to action, and we can provide all the information that anyone needs in order to help us to launch a campaign so that we can shed light on what's happening here, so that we can rescue the land and the people, so that we can protect our people.
Thank you so much, Abu. Thank you so much. We hear you. You're in solidarity. Viviane, over to you, please.
Thank you. To keep it brief, support the people of Palestine, Yemen, Syria. If you're in the US, continue to demand an end to funding weapons for this genocide, ongoing genocides, and connect with whatever local organizations and tap in. Pay attention to what's happening in Sudan too. Make sure to amplify voices, fundraisers, and calls to action. Don't let Sudan fall to the background. And then on a very, very local way, our Semillas de Justicia garden space that is very, very special and needed for many, many immigrant families. We're trying to install solar panels in our gardens so folks could have electricity and run irrigation systems, and as well as install heat for some of our livestock during the winter. I'm going to place a fundraiser link here. And that's it, keeping it brief. Miriam, I think you're muted.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much, Viviana. Thank you so much, Abu. This was a very informative, inspiring time. Would have loved to open up questions from participants, but time is far gone. But I would say if you have questions, you can write them down and they might find a way to answer and get back to you. We appreciate everybody that is here and we don't take it lightly. We know that it's not, I mean, you could have gone somewhere else or be doing something and you choose to share this moment with our winners. We are wrapping up now, and this time I would want to thank everyone who found time from your busy schedules. I know at this time of the year, people are very busy with one thing or the other. You found time to come participate and stay till the end. We are grateful. We are very happy, and we don't take it lightly. I would now like to hand it over to Natalia of Grassroots International to close our ceremony today. Thank you, everyone. And I'll again start with the drum. I would like also to beat the drum in honor of all the wonderful people, the winners, the great champions who, despite all odds, has been fighting. Natalia, over to you.
Thank you so much, Marian, and thank you so much, Viviana and Fuad. Thank you so much for your testimony to the work, for your steadfastness. We're really grateful to have had you as honorees. ArNA and LVEJO are examples to follow in such difficult contexts, facing genocide and systemic oppression. Your experience and your vision and everything you've shared with us in such a powerful way today. It stays in our hearts and will be our impetus for action, the calls to actions that you have both made for us. It was so powerful to understand the different and also common approaches and connections between us, and how our work for food sovereignty is a work for freedom and liberation for all, and how we must center internationalism and solidarity amongst us in order to continue the work. I also want to thank my colleagues of the U.S. Food Sovereignty Alliance who are involved in organizing this. I know it looks like an hour and a half, but it's months of work. It was, and a big thanks also to Ayman and Ophelia who introduced our honorees today. And a special thank you to our stellar and wonderful, beautiful MC, Mariam Bassi of Friends of the Earth Africa. And finally, a thank you to our interpreters for helping us achieve language justice today. And to our to Danielle, Ahed, Joel, and Katie. And thanks to all of you for participating and being in community as we move forward into the years ahead, into the work that we're in today. Community is super important in building solidarity in these moments. It's really important. So we really are thankful for your participation. You can stay connected with the U.S. Food Sovereignty Alliance via our Facebook page and also the website. And I'm going to put the links here in the chat for folks who are interested. And we would love to share more about how to get involved through either one of our collectives, which are open to U.S. Food Sovereignty Alliance member organizations, or one of our issue-specific collectives as well, which are open to anyone who's interested. We also hope to gather in person for a membership assembly in the spring of 2025. So keep a lookout for that through our listservs. You will be hearing more about that from all of us. If everybody can turn on your video at the end and let's greet each other and say farewell, that would be wonderful. And let's give a warm departure to our honorees and let them know that we will not be silent, that we will not betray them, and clap. Let's turn on our mics and clap for our wonderful honorees. Thanks, everyone. Take care and have a great rest of the year and keep taking action.
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine.
Viva
Free
Palestina!
Palestine.
Viva Palestina! Viva!
From
عاشت
the river
فلسطين!
to the sea.